One of the cool things about working on my indie game alone is getting to work on all aspects of the game at the same time. Ever since I started, I got to learn and work on programming, animation, user interface, game design, and art. For the art parts, I'm using a free piece of software called Krita that I actually really recommend. It's really good, it's quite user-friendly, and has a lot of tools to help you with your art. After spending a lot of time coding my player's state machine, I felt like I wasn't doing much progress. In moments like this, the motivation takes a hit, so instead of banging my head against the wall, I thought I'd take a break from it and work on something else. It's really important I do this to make sure I keep making progress on my game and avoid procrastinating. Pinterest is a fantastic tool for inspiration. A simple research there gives you hundreds of designs, drawings, and ideas you can use as inspiration source for your artwork. I knew I wanted my main character displayed on the title screen, with space in the background. I just wasn't sure of what exactly I would want to emphasize. I found those two pieces of art on Pinterest, and I liked both of them. The first one puts the accent on the motion, which makes sense for my game since there will be a lot of jumping around. The second puts the emphasis on the landscape and the exploration parts. It's also something I hope I can implement in the game. I started to sketch for both, and since my art skills are somewhat limited, I ended up picking the second one that is probably easier to execute on. I'll finish the first one sometime later for additional artwork. Krita has a wide variety of tools, among which is the ability to use textures. These mountains, for example, are pre-made textures. I use them to reflect what the astronaut actually sees in front of him. I'm not too sure yet I want to include mountains in my game, but I can change that later if needs be. Now is the time to add a color layer on top of the black and white drawing. I use the Adjust Multiply and Adjust Overlay Burn FX tools in Krita to add a nice blue shaded texture in the background. I then use a couple of pre-made textures to add stars and a moon. I wasn't all that much satisfied with the way the moon looked up until this point, so I just kept playing around with colors and the two FX tools that I mentioned earlier. The only thing that was left was to add colors. Orange for the rest of the spacesuit, and a nice shaded blue for the background. If you're interested, I'll make a detailed 20-minute video of me recreating this artwork from the start. So that's it, guys. This wraps up the third episode of the devlog series. This was a nice break from the coding parts, but we'll have to get back to it at some point, probably in our next episode. So stay tuned, and if you want to be notified for next ones, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Until then, see ya!